After I had uploaded the video on the NYS, 18 hours later, the president talked about NYS being armed. It was purely coincidental, and I didn't mean it. I mean, I didn't know that he was going to talk about it or whatever. I have been occasionally, I've seen occasions where I've talked to the press about issues, and it led to the NIS believing that I get information from their colleagues within the service. It happened that there was even a time when they used to tell their people to keep off me, because if you are seen with me and I talk of something that is ongoing, then people start believing that maybe, just maybe, you are the one who's telling me. But you see, this is a talent, and you having a talent, ending up in the same profession is a plus to the Almighty. It is also a plus to my mother. You have never met her, but when she was alive, she had a talent in both photographic mind and also uh, knowing how to assess things, how they do happen. You do something and then maybe, and also she was very good she was good in languages. So if you think that I'm good in both language and photographic mind, then you never met the grand lady of them. It's only that I was lucky that I ended up in the proposed in the correct profession. If she would have ended there, then maybe she would have made a very good intelligence officer. I had recorded something to do with. I had recorded something to do with NYS being trained in firearms in 1996, a year before 1997. And when I had recorded that, 18 hours later, the president said that. I have no idea that the president was going to say that. In my mind, I have several videos I'm supposed to record, but first of all, I was requested not to be recording so many videos because there are those loyal followers who want to watch everything. And then there is also some things which I still have to think over it. I have to Google myself, Google my head to find out those things so that I talk about them. So there are those things which there are those things I want to talk which are of various stages of recording, and that is and then there is that many things that make it that I don't record something. When it comes to the NYS thing, I have been having that idea for quite some months, but then I decided to record it. Of course, I knew about the NYA passing out, but that did not affect my. It did not affect my timing. And then officially, it's good. I thank God, because if I would have delayed, maybe it would not have been effective as if I would have recorded after the president had talked. So that one, I thank the Almighty. Uh, I have no access to the president, and I do not know anybody who has access to the president. But if I had access to the president, or if the president comes across this, or those who are close to the president can either send this one to him or even tell him the contents. That was an idea that I would really pray that it does not take effect. It does not take effect. First of all, the major point is we have a situation where we had some youths, I don't know how many they are, uh, who were trained at NYS a year before election. And after the elections, they were taken back to NYS, where they undertook various technical courses. They were even called ex-boynet. That is those who used to use a bayonet. So you can see that 1996, that is uh, 28 years ago, and 28 years people, anybody in the especially disciplined services, this is somebody who's planning to retire. Now, if someone has worked throughout his life with the knowledge of gun without without using it, I think that was a wastage of facilities and whatever, and the country has less money. Another thing is if the president does not maybe tell the people, he has powers to tell those who are affected, or even the ministries and departments affected, to come out and tell us what was the purpose of training those people in 1996, and even after training them, did they end up in the forces or anything, or such and such a thing. After he has cleared that, then, because today if he does that, people may think that he's also setting up a militia for the next election. So let him first of all clear that. And then the question is, every selection we have 20 NYS, 20,000. Now taking 20,000 out in the field, to start the military training every year, for 5 years, that is 100,000. You want to tell me that we are safe to having 100,000 people with the military training, but maybe doing other jobs? I don't think so. Yes, the president said that these people would form a sort of a police reserve or home guards should there be need. Yes, I would want to support that, but not all of them. If we could have, let's say, a good number of NYS, ex-NYS, who are trained in any other, he or she could be a teacher in a DEB, he or she could be a clinic officer or a nurse in a dispensary, he or she would even do any other job, mechanic or something. But whenever there is a problem like the one we're having in northeastern Kenya, a problem of Operation Linda Usalama, then they can be recalled and do a refresher course in one of the police trainings for 2 weeks, and then they go and do dumisha amani, then come back and start treating people or even teaching people. That one I would want to. And then the president also said that I think it was KWS which had taken out 54. It had taken 54% of its recruits from NYS. I just don't understand why we should even have 80%. Why don't we have everybody who joins the National Police Service, the Kenya Defense Forces, the other formalities and whatever? Why don't we have 100% from NYS? Let me tell you a secret. Those are the kids of bosses. If you find that we are employing 95%, I'm one of the kids of the bosses. When I was a recruit, my father was a provincial CID officer Northeastern. So when this, what happens is, if you are trying to say that 95% be taken from NYS, then it means that 5% wakubwa watagawana. Now NIS, the way the president said, he said that they are going to collect people, servicemen from every village in Kenya. And when they are recruiting police, or any other national police service, or they are recruiting KDF, or they are recruiting Kenya Wildlife or Kenya Forest, they take from each and every sub-county. What would stop? And it is even cheaper. Instead of people coming from Kiganja and going around all other places. Of course, the NYS, we have kids we have even some with physical disability. I remember one of them who got a present for for the best person with a disability was this. He had no right hand, so he was even saluting with the left hand, whatever, and he was marching very well. I said, hey, if he would have been well, if he was not living with the disability, he would have joined the forces very well. But with the 20,000, I doubt, I highly doubt whether we recruit 20,000 KDF, National Police Service, KWS, and KFS. I think, oh, okay, if we take maybe that is 15,000. Now, if we have to take those 15,000, why don't we take them from NYS? I can tell you that the training of NYS is tougher than the training in Kiganjo. So what I would suggest is when the recruitment time comes, instead of these people going in all the sub-counties in Kenya to do whatever, they all congregate in Ruaraka. By the way, Ruaraka is where the NYS headquarters is. When they go to Ruaraka or even Naivasha, they go to a field and know how many sub-counties do we have in Kenya. So many sub-counties. Then they take within the National Youth Service, of course, excluding those people with physical disabilities, and even excluding, there are those people who go to NYS, but they don't want to end up in discipline forces. Why? You see, for you to, and I almost ended up in the NYS because my father was seconded there, and that is what thing he told me. If I would not have gone to Form 5, I would have joined the NYS and started off from those days it used to be called ACNC, but nowadays it's called CATC. I would have started training as an accountant with CATC and stayed there and trained as an accountant, coming out as finalist in CPA, a finalist as CPA after 3 years. And that one, if I would have gone for training and whatever, I would have used a lot of. So we have those people who want to train such things. There are those computer experts and whatever, those who want to go to TVETs, but they do not have school fees for those. But I am very sure, and I can swear today that if I can swear today that if we went for all the services, discipline services, if they were all to recruit from NYS, they could do it. And what is the advantages of them doing that? An NYS, after completing his or her training, that is a training like any other paramilitary training you get in GSU, in KDF, in Kenya Wildlife, and in Kenya Forest. If you take somebody who has completed NYS, I can tell you that if he goes or she goes to Kiganjo, Ruiru, that is prison, Eldoret KDF, or even KWS and even Coast Guard, you'll find that when somebody has trained that, he or she will take half the time. And what does half the time mean? It means that, training a police officer is very expensive. It's very expensive. Let me just give one example. If you train with NYS, you are given pocket money. If you train in Kiganjo, you are given salary. So, police officers who are in Kiganjo, recruits who are in Kiganjo, are paid in full salary while they are studying. But if the askari was to train halfway, then the government would spend lesser money. Remember, the recruit in Kiganjo, you are paying him, and he's not working; he's learning. If you can make the learning be half, then the government will save money there, because this recruit, when he or she was in the NYS, she used not to get a salary. And again, when somebody comes from NYS, especially if the whole training is purely NYS, there are some things they'll jump. You saw the parade. Now, somebody going to Kiganjo who has no police background or anything, how long will it take him to learn how to march? But then these are people who came from Gilgil, and they know something that is called silent drill. And silent drill of today is not like silent drill of my time. Nowadays, you jump, you have to be physical, like Eliud Kipchoge. So, if the president wants these people to be trained in firearm, kindly let them be trained the way they are trained now, and let there be no police officer to be recruited from his or her sub county. Because if you go there, you just ask, how many sub counties are there in Kenya? Dagoretti sub county huko, Lugari sub county pale, whatever. And then from there, they just select them from there. And in the evening, they take them to Kiganjo. The next time it is what? Prisons. They come and do that. That way is a win-win situation. But Your Excellency, taking people, training people with firearms and letting them do other things, I can tell you that very many times a lot of ideas have gone through my mind, but I think of my wife and children. How would my kids feel when people say hawa ndio watoto wa yule jamaa alifungwa, or these are the kids of somebody who snatched a gun from the police officer? Let the guns be, and it is expensive to train using a gun. It's very expensive and very risky, I can tell you. I don't even want to take you to Kiganjo or anywhere where let me take you to just the nearest police station. There is a sergeant there. He has to have the number of bullets accountable at every given minute as he walks around or she walks around. Major, they call that major. Major is in charge of armory, and if you stop that major on the road, he or she will tell you, I have so many rifles. And it is risky and it is whatever, but it is necessary for a police station to have that. Now, having expending of firearms in college, I can tell you, in GSU tulikuwa tunaambiwa unapiga risasi mpaka unasikia harufu ya risasi. Does the government have those bullets where we are going to waste on youths who are going to shoot? I can tell you, wacha Kiganjo. Kiganjo, I told you it is 2 hours per week. But go to Magadi, GSU. There is a box that people carry full of bullets. A recruit can spend that one in a few days. You shoot and whatever. Now you want to tell me somebody will be trained in that? Somebody firing, let's say, 200 bullets per day, 6,000 per month. Now, if 6,000 per month, and then you have 20,000, 20 times 60, no, 20 times 6, 120 million bullets a day. In fact, Kenya is a very safe country. I can tell you that there are some parts, like where I come from, where I'll be buried. A drunk police officer can leave a gun there, and the people will go and take it to the police station. Not in Turkana or anywhere, because that place, you lose your gun in 5 seconds, it is gone forever. So, the more the guns are in civilian hands, the more dangerous it is. Ask the Americans. Thank you.